Hey guys, it's Pheasant, and welcome back to episode 5 of my Minecraft Survival Realm Forever world. As always, I am hard at work with an episode today for you guys with a flower shop, which is going to be completely decked out with every single short flower in the game, along with this sniffer farm right here and a moss farm. If you guys missed episode 4, I would highly recommend to go check it out, as we built a whole bunch of bridges around my base, and they really ended up turning out great, and now I don't need to walk across cobblestone anymore. But I've seen the comments and I know the mega base is coming together and I have a lot more to do. But today I still want to get some more things done with a flower shop right here, which will look great, I think, along with a little bit of an area for parking and loading. Up here at Y154, we're in my storage room, which I'm excited to get to later on, but I'm able to grab a bunch of resources here, and we have them all down at the place ready to go. So just getting started with the foundation, I wanted to bring in some oak and some bamboo, as I think this will be a nice strong place for our windows. And then at the entrance, I want to have this diagonal, as I definitely do not use them enough. But with the bamboo border, I kind of wanted to get a nice section of a good idea of how tall the place will be, and then we started getting up the oak borders, which me personally, stripped is always the way to go. But I'm loving all of this space here, and I think it's time to get in some glass really quick. So just with that little designs, we're getting a few nice windows here, and I think it's looking good. So back out here is where that parking lot space will go, and I think I just wanted to get in a little bit of a fence design with these iron bars, and I have no clue why they're glitching out still, but I wanted to do some iron on top, as I have a nice iron farm, and this is how it turned out. So I really like that, and I believe we'll be able to set this up nicely to work with the storage system over there and just have all the space to go on out the other side. Then I went through the grueling process of making chiseled bookshelves, as they cost a ton, but I really like them and I wanted to keep this light color to the flooring, so I took out a whole bunch along with the parking supply lot, which I'll give a nice little textured road. But here is the open space layout, which we just had a whole bunch of chiseled bookshelves to place, and it was way more than I crafted. And then I went through the painful realization that you need silk touch to break the chiseled bookshelves. But after getting over that, I was able to do a little bit more with making some little spots for rugs, and then I wanted to bring in some shelves here with some spruce to really darken the load. I kept it simple with just a nice little trapdoor and slab design. I made it 2 levels, which I'll end up putting a lot of pots on there, but it's really coming together with some rugs around, and I think it's time to get in some flooring back here. I was feeling a little lazy, so this is always just a tip. Just get a few little splotches around of, some good blocks that go well together, then boom, look at this, just an easy floor. Then I brought in some tough blocks in the cashier's desk area, along with the trapdoor wall, which I always feel like works really well. Then I got some good prismarine colors in here for the desk, along with some lighting under the carpets for really easy secret lighting. And once I got these trapdoors up, it really hides things quite well. For some exterior detail, I wanted to throw in a few bone stacks, as bone meal is used a lot on flowers, and I thought this added a nice little touch. Along with outside, I went ahead and did the nice little lightning rod method and made some cool lighting effects, which kind of wraps up the end of layer 1 of the build. So I thought, let's take a little break, and I headed on over to the iron farm and looked away from the city. Here we are, and I have grand plans for this place in a future episode, and it's really up to you guys to decide, but I love the cats here, and let's stay here for an hour and see how much we get. 1 hour later, and Golem's still on fire. We got 3 stacks there, then a stack there, so it wasn't really terrible, it wasn't really great. I did lose a villager somehow, but let's get back to the grind, as I'm trying to make this place a 3-story building. To stay organized, I wanted to bring in this ledge of mangrove and sandstone, and I think it turned out really good to get that farm shop feel, and this is from above, and it just was a hard thing to get diagonals, but it worked really well. And then I wanted to bring in this birch foundation to bring a lighter color going up. Does anyone else love to just jump on their bed? But after sleeping the night away, it was time to continue, as I brought in a similar detail to the first floor with all of this birch here. And then I went ahead with this dark oak with this trim around, and I thought it added a nice extra touch. I am definitely getting a little bit messy with a slight shulker monster, and I looked at my spruce supplies and I got nothing. So being on a little bit of a time crunch, I thought I'd use a one-time pass to the bunker over here, which is a community foundation where I can grab any sort of materials as long as I'm able to return some in the process, which I have given a lot. But the spruce is for the back side, as I love the front side, but we really do not have much going on back here. Oh, how about that? All the spruce, all of a sudden. That's so nice. But anyways, we got a little setup going, and then I wanted to get in some of these moss stairs, and then it was time to get in the second ground flooring, as I wanted to do this little bit of a copper look using some acacia. Because orange in this game is awesome. I'm so glad Mojang is starting to add more and more of it, and it's looking really good so far. This spacious second floor will allow us to put a lot of pots and flowers down, and so I just went ahead and set up some little scaffolding spots as I really like those as a nice little table, and so I just put them all around. And eventually I'll be able to get a ton of color over here and out the windows, but it was time to continue on to the third level as I brought up the same fence design for a staircase, which is always so smooth, along with this moss for a nice little outside lawn, giving me lots of room to frolic in. And I added some moss in on the other side, but I ran out, which is definitely going to have to be dealt with later on in this video, but I just wanted to add a nice little birch setup along with just a few other details around, and did another lovely bounce to my bed, and brought in some nice blue copper for the roof, which consists of a slab layer, then a block layer, and then a stair layer, followed by a nice little slab layer on top. And after all that, I'm really liking it so far. Pretty plain, but we'll get back to that, as I wanted to come back inside to this grass plot over here, along with set up a bunch of pots all around on the storage shelves and everywhere. Now it is time for my secret entrance to my bunker below, which is where I'm going to be having the flower factory. So I thought this was a really cool idea, so I made sure to build these two water elevators here, which I'll fill in later, but we have a lot to dig out. So I did exactly that with these two water elevators down here. We'll be able to see the kind of open space along with the finished farm right here, which this thing is a beast. You turn it on and it just produces any flower you want as long as you place it right here. So just like this, boom. Of course, this is a Bedrock exclusive farm, as you really are not able to do this in Java. It is very simple though, as all you need is these sticky pistons along with two observers and a dispenser and some redstone. And after only a few minutes of cycling through the flowers, we were able to get all of that so far. So we have a ton to do down here, so I'm just going to skip ahead, get some building done, and I'll be back with you guys. Just like that, we have a awesome lab here where it's definitely feeling more like that auto farm feel, which I'm trying to go for, just showing that this thing is realistic and this is where people go to kind of work on the flowers and research on them. But over in here, we have all these barrels set up where I started putting the flowers already in, and I just need to get some signs. But I went ahead and did these little twin murals right here towards the water elevator, and I think it just settles the whole place in very nicely, where on top it's kind of hidden by this farm. With no redstone required, I think it's such a cool way to hide your place. That's where the real work will be going down. So let's get collecting with the flowers, as I'm just going to grab a shulker box, and I already have these flowers collected, so it's really not that bad, as I'm going to go check down below in the storage and see what others we have collected. So we have 8 so far, so we really just need the other 5 to make it the 13, as those are all the natural growing flowers in the world. But thankfully, over nearby my strip mine, there's a whole flower biome, so I should be able to find all of these really easily. And it really did not take long at all, as all of the tulips and all the pretty flowers were all here ready to go. And I was kind of stressing, I was really confused if I had them all. So I took one last stroll around the flower biome, and I knew that I had all of the ones that I needed. Now back down here in the flower bunker, I have all of the ones that I want to duplicate, as this should be a really easy process with all of the bones. And this one right here, I really want to get the open eye flower, as it would be a big help to get the orange dye, as that is the only one I have left, as in here it is looking great with everything really organized. And I just wanted to have a quick way to get all of the dyes and flowers that I would ever need for any builds coming on. Heading back up to the top level, I still have a lot of detail to do, starting with this moss right here, as I really need a moss farm to really help me out on this project. But yeah, look here, the eye blossom has finally opened. I'm so happy about it. Yes, thank you. So I headed right on down to the bunker, and I got right to work, as I love having these eye blossoms. So now I have every single type of dye that I would need from these, as I'm just needing the cactus and the black dyes now. But off to the skies again, as we are going to be heading over to the iron farm, and we are going to be building this moss farm right underneath it, as I really want to make it as efficient as possible, and I have a great plan for this place, as I'm excited to really cover in this whole plot, make it beautiful, create this great temple, and it's going to work out really well in the end. So coming down here is where the work is all done and the golems are dealt with, but I think I have to get a bunch of digging out as this moss farm needs a ton of room. So I'll be right back with you guys as this is definitely going to take a while. Alright, so 2 in-game days later, we are back, and my netherite pickaxe is about to die. So I'm definitely going to need to head on over to the Guardian farm, but I'm really liking the progress so far, as that should be the bottom level. So over through the portal, we'll be able to make it quite easily to my Guardian XP farm, as it really is a short trip away on my nether highway. And so I just need to head on over to the main track, and over here is just my little setup, which once we head through the portal, it's not exactly the prettiest sight yet, but it's a project I want to work on in the future, as it was a super easy build to do, which right here is the Trident Killer, where I will just stand and chill for a little bit and see how quickly my pickaxe can get up. Oh, and do not crouch, ouch. And 2 in-game days later, we are done with just my pickaxe being fully rehealed, and we are going to take a fly back, as it really isn't that far from home. Ah, and look what we have here, a golem in his natural habitat. What will he do? Oh, attack the zombie golem. Attack him. Oh, oh. Meeting our golem friend down here. We can see him oh no. But we are going to get back to work and finish off mining out this space, as we still have a lot to do, and I have all of these materials here for the moss farm, and it's really all you need for the bedrock version, and it's a super easy build. But I also wanted to start some designs, as in here I have some glass, along with I wanted to add more water elevators, as I'm gonna need it. But it feels good to grab some dye easily and be able to make some gray stained glass, as I think that's what I'm gonna use, as I really want this lab to work out here. So I'm gonna ask for your guys' help in the comments below to give me some ideas. But without further ado, let's get this moss farm done. That took a little longer than I wanted, but we still have the iron farm going along with the moss farm down here, which I did build in my last summer realm. So it was a blast to make again, and it's just a super easy build, and it's crazy how you're just able to use the moss to be able to create this much, along with all the bone meal you can remake. And just with a little bit of redstone hopper magic, we are able to get that all working, along with we've got some passive iron on the side, and that is all looking good. This is just about everything that I want in the lab right now, as I really want your guys' help to design the place, but the moss farm is working extremely well, and I'm so happy about the progress we've made so far. So saying our goodbyes to the iron farm and moss farm for a bit, we are going to head back over to the flower shop, where we still have a lot more to get done. I have so many plans though, with a main nether portal space over by that bridge, along with a nice little town there and spawn area, which I have a grand idea for, and of course my big mega base up here. And if you guys have been enjoying the episode so far, I would really appreciate a like and a comment if you guys have any ideas at all down below. But finally, back to the flower farm, I went ahead and got right to work with a nice custom spruce tree. It took me quite a bit to get it done, but I think it turned out quite well in the end. And then I brought in some little technical stuff up top, like an AC vent, and then it was finally time to get the moss flooring in, which it is pretty funny that I made a whole farm just for a few pieces. But let's get in all the flowers along with some saplings, and this is how it turned out. Just some simple designs, and I wanted to get some leaves all along the ceiling, and in the end I got a bunch of detail all around. I was going non-stop, so I think it's time for a little tour. And here we are out front with a finished product and some flowers all outside, along with the tree in the middle. And we have all our carpet and a nice lovely open space to show off all our flowers, with our cashier desk here and all our storage back here, with a flower truck right here. And I really like how it came out. It's super simple, but just have some moss with some flowers in the back and lots of room for more trucks and buildings here. So making our way outside of the gates, we have just some of these bushes here, which I think are really awesome to make. All you gotta do is put some moss on top. And if we head on up to the second floor, we can get another nice look at all the flowers here, just so you can really get a good look at the variety, with pretty much every single plantable item in the game. This has definitely been a big goal of mine, and I'm so happy I was able to get it done. As we come on top, we have made a little boardroom here just to talk with some of my realm members, along with a few pots and just keeping the place pretty open. As on this side, I'll probably just add a few flowers and call it a day. I left this side pretty empty and not detailed on purpose, as next episode I'll probably be coming back to this area, as it is an awesome build though. Taking a little break, I ended up having some shenanigans with J-Dog here, as I always wanted to create this wind charge machine, so he went ahead and gave it a shot. So like you just jump in and then can you click it? What? Wait, you're gone. I don't know, I guess I'll give it a shot first. Shoot. Yeah, that was the highest one yet. Yeah, I'm gone. As you guys can hear from my laugh, J-Dog and I had a ton of fun just messing around with a bunch of new physics, and I recommend you guys make one of your own. You guys thought I was only going to build a flower shop with a completely functioning flower farm along with a moss farm this video? No. So I went over and grabbed a bunch more spruce, and I headed over to this plot right here, right across from the flower shop, where I think I want to make a sniffer farm. Which I went ahead and planned out my 10 by 10 plot where I will eventually have a minecart underneath it, and then I got some foundation around along with a little bit of color, as the moss is green and then the yellow and the red represent the rest of the sniffer. I then covered up the tracks, and I completely forgot to put in the hopper minecart, but here we're going to put down the sniffers that I've already got from a good friend of mine. Now when placed on moss, they do go twice as fast, so I went to work immediately on the outside with just some details, but I realized something was very wrong. As where did they go? Oh, okay, there's one of them. Thank God. Let's get a lead for you, mister. Oh my gosh, I don't know how this happened. Okay, there's one here. Now I'm gonna have to find the other one. Where in the world could he be? I checked everywhere, and then all of a sudden, oh, there he is. Thank God. And now with both of them safe and sound, I can really rest easily. Oh, my little cuties. But now back to business. I have them all fenced in here, and it's time to go on up, as I wanted to go with this Japanese style roof, and I brought it all the way up to the top. But you know what? I thought it was trash. I thought it was terrible. I don't know if it was just the rain, but I thought it just did not fit. So whenever you get a feeling like that, there's absolutely no reason not to go on ahead and just destroy the whole thing. Raw! So I just got right to it, as I knew I needed to rebuild it, and I wanted to keep the foundation, as I did really like the scale of the whole building. So I just got down to destroying the whole thing, as I knew it would be worth it in the end. Just like that, I have my clean slate ready to go, and I'm just going to get it out of the way, as I'm going to bring in some deep slate to add some color, and this is working out really nicely for the first floor. And I just continued on with this really nice pattern, just adding a lot of little depth and detail, which closing out the top, I thought it turned out great with just finishing off the inside with just some arches. Then of course I want to get in the final touch of the lighting, and I think the build is pretty much done, and I think it's time to celebrate with a little bit of a snack for the torch flowers. And wait, what's going on? No! Oh, okay. So we have another sniffer egg, of course, here, and we will get planting those, as I'll make sure to have quite a few, along with just adding some quick greenery on top of us, which really completes this build, as I am really happy with it, and I ended up getting even more sniffer eggs to go in with it. And as we head on up the flower shop, we'll make our way all the way to the top and be able to get a grand view at all the progress we have done. As I want to now bring us over to Vibrant Visuals, which is planned to be dropping on June 17th, so I hope you guys are really excited for that, as it's a really great glow to the place, and it's absolutely breathtaking and game-changing. So I hope you guys are excited as I am, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, as we really had so much progress with flowers, as we can now get all of the 2 tall flowers, the 1 tall flowers, and the 2 sniffer flowers. So I'm really proud of how everything turned out, and it's just beautiful and vibrant visuals once again. So please leave a comment down below for what you guys want to see more of in the future, and let's just hit this for one last time. I don't know if I'll survive this.